Recognize it's not you they're fighting, but the disease. So with acceptance, we must constantly be readjusting our expectations of our loved ones, of their abilities, and what they can accomplish. And eventually we may reach a point where we have no expectations of them at all. However, what may be more problematic are the expectations we have for ourselves as caregivers. This includes that we should be able to handle all the issues that come up, to not only meet the needs of our loved ones, but our own needs as well. And to control how this disease affects our lives. Unfortunately, when those expectations are not met, once again, we're left feeling frustration and anger, and oftentimes a whole lot of guilt. I've learned that the caregiver must find a way to let go of what cannot be changed, to adapt to life as it evolves, and to let go of the desire to control it. This may also include letting go of family and friends who, because of their own denial or other issues, bring you only negativity and more pain. We can't control other people's reactions to this disease any more than we can control the disease itself. As a caregiver, you must make decisions based on what is right for your loved one and for you. And if someone is standing in your way, you may have to go around them or leave them behind. This may result in more loss, but it's necessary in order to move forward. I know Mary Ann wouldn't be happy if I didn't at least address the issue of guilt. I don't want to be guilty. Many of you have heard me say this about guilt, but it bears repeating. Guilt is the emotion we experience when we've done something wrong or perceived it to be wrong. If we have done something wrong, guilt is an emotion that can actually motivate us to make a change or to apologize for our actions. But please remember, you did not cause this disease, nor can you have the power to fix it. You were not born a caregiver, knowing just the right thing to do at just the right time. And you can't do more than what you think is the right thing at any given moment. If you're feeling guilt, take the time to examine your expectations of yourself. Are they realistic? If they are realistic, then it becomes important for the caregiver to find a way to forgive themselves. We are human. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes. It is how we learn. But remember, you're often developing a relationship with someone, for all intents and purposes, you may barely know. And you're responding to a world that we can't really begin to understand. There'll be times where you lose your patience and you react out of frustration and anger, but these are all normal emotions that are part of the grieving process we experience when we lose someone. If you feel you have wronged them, then ask for forgiveness. But most important, allow yourself to forgive yourself. If you realize that you've done your best and made the best choices given the circumstances, and you still feel guilt, then recognize that you may be feeling, what you're feeling is not guilt, but its sister emotion, which is regret. We regret that we had to take away their driving. We regret we had to bring in home health or start adult daycare, or even place them in a long-term care facility. These are circumstances we regret, but we have not wronged our loved ones by doing them. These decisions were done because we want the best for them, to keep them safe, keep them stimulated, and in some cases, to keep ourselves alive, so that we could continue to manage and advocate for their care. In the 6 years at the Alzheimer's Support Network, I've come to really appreciate and understand the importance of having a good team. And I've been blessed to work with the best team possible here at the network. I've learned that the caregiver needs to have a good team as well. And for that team to function, the caregiver must be willing to ask for help and be willing to accept help. We have seen many times that this insistence to go it alone, whether because of denial or their refusal to relinquish any control or a desire not to be a burden, or perhaps because of financial concerns. Whatever the reasons, it doesn't work. The caregiver who is isolated and alone is in trouble. A good team may be comprised of family and friends, medical professionals, home care workers, adult daycare center, long-term care facility. Anywhere and everywhere the caregiver finds support and understanding. This is where I've learned about the power of the group. When caregivers come together to talk about the issues, to problem solve, to support one another in this journey, and to allow them to give voice to all the emotions they're experiencing, they find comfort and are empowered. The problems may still be difficult, but they're no longer isolated and no longer alone. In considering a new concept of what it means to successfully age in the face of disease, one important lesson I've learned has come from those members of our families with the memory lost themselves. And that is the idea of living in the moment. For someone where the past is fading quickly and the future is uncertain and unclear, they are left then with only this moment right now. This idea is helpful for the caregiver to consider when attempting to communicate or to keep them active and engaged. It's also an idea that I feel is useful to everyone. The Buddhist monks spend their lives seeking to attain this enlightenment, and I believe our memory-impaired loved ones show us the way. They certainly teach us to ask, what is really important? Along with, does it really matter? I remember vividly one of the first support groups I sat in on, and our own Joe Fazio talked of what he called the law of equal time. This is the idea that we need to devote as much time remembering and being thankful for the good things we still have in our lives as we do thinking about the things we've lost. For me, this speaks directly to the idea that we cannot change what's happened to our lives, but we do have control over the attitude that we take in response to what's happened in our lives. I've also learned that a large part of our attitude towards our lives revolves around whether or not we have hope. Hope may be the thought that the microphone will work. I do believe that a discovery will come one day for this disease. I'm not sure how soon and whether it'll be in time for your loved one. But we must have hope, because without it, there's only despair. So once again, we may need to reevaluate and redefine hope. It may mean that today I hope to string together more happy or at least contented moments for my loved one than unhappy moments. It may mean that today I will gain new insights into why my loved one acts the way they do. Today may be the day I make a new friend at the support group, that because of our shared journey, I will be closer to them than I ever could have imagined. As Havel said, hope is not about believing you can change things. Hope is about believing you make a difference. So to all of you who have invited me into your lives and shared your struggles with me, I am sorry we had to meet under these circumstances. But know that I will cherish our time together, and I want you to know that you've made a difference in my life. Thank you for all you've taught me. Thank you, Father.